All right, moving on.
Just a couple of things I can't do because I had an abortion yesterday.
Was it mine?
Yeah, of course it was yours. I didn't want to talk about it beforehand. I just wanted to do it. But I haven't shared with boyfriends in the past. I'm trying to be more open with you.
So you're trying to be open with me. How many abortions have you had?
I'm not going to share that with you because that is private. I'm not going to ask you how many girls you've gotten pregnant.
None. It's not private. I've gotten no girls pregnant except for you now.
Oh, I can't stand this shit. Go ahead. Oh, my blood boils. Go ahead.
I don't think this is going to take too much discourse. She was wrong for that. And she's actually trying to be open with him, telling him after the fact, but she should have. That's what she said. She said she's trying to be more open, but she's doing it after the fact. She should have told him before. Why are you looking at me all crazy?
I'm listening to you.
I'm repeating what the girl said.
I'm just listening. I'm looking at you.
I don't like the way you're looking at me.
Well, you know what I don't like? That women have the ability to option out of a fucking pregnancy. But if a man wants to opt out, he can't. He still could be subject to child support and all types of legalities post the baby. But she can make a decision all on her own to get rid of the baby and never have to deal with it. And the man just has to take whatever comes with it. There's no win for a pregnancy when it comes down to a pregnancy for a man, only if him and her are on the same exact page.
I'm going to be the people in the comments. He could have wore a condom. He knew what he was doing. He should have not. That's what they're going to say.
But he wanted the baby.
He didn't know.
He wanted the baby.
I think
He don't know what he wanted.
Exactly.
He slapped the bottle.
He doesn't know what he wanted?
His
We don't know what he
option.
wanted.
You don't know what he wanted?
No. Just because he slapped the bottle, that means he wanted the baby. Is people that did that and the kid never seen their father before. So that's
Yes.
Talk about that.
They did that. What do you mean talk about? They did that with pregnancy, not abortion.
Well,
you can't undo an abortion.
Yeah,
I mean,
her having the baby either.
Mm-hmm. So if we think about, all right, her body, her choice, but it takes two to make a baby, yes? I mean, that's usually how it works. So, I mean, I feel like when it comes to especially abortion, I mean, yes, it's her body, but at the same time, the man also has a very big part to play in a child's life. And a lot of times men, they get X out of that situation or they get X out of that opportunity to step up to the plate. And then sometimes as women, we're like, well, it's my body. I'll do what I want. And then he's like, oh, yeah. And she was like, what about how many women you slept with? Right?
Like none.
He's like, none.
So how many you got pregnant?
How many you got pregnant? Right? So, I mean, when it comes to, your body, your choice, a child is such an important step. And it takes two people, for that to be, for your child to be raised. So I feel like she was definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. And she should have included him, at least in the conversation, and then make the decision to whether or not she wants to do the abortion or not.
I feel like there should be some type of penalty. I don't think that abortion should be, and it's weird because there's only two people, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you have one yes and one no, what do you do then? I would love to figure that out. But I don't think that one person should be able to make it, whether she is the person who is carrying the baby or bringing the baby to term, God willing, or not. Because, and I'll say this just because I've seen it and I was the product of it. Just because a man is a deadbeat doesn't mean it doesn't eat away at him every day of his life. And although he may seem like he's okay, that man could be suffering. So there are some men who can live perfectly fine, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of men who are internally suffering, and it could be whatever the reason. Yes, could he make a difference? Yeah, but, should he have wore a condom? Yes, we can say all these different things, but my main issue is that one person, and it's typically a man, is suffering when you're having a baby without any type of actual agreement that is being followed through. So, and that's my thing. And it's a sensitive topic for me.
Okay, so we're going to take some time right now for our two guests to, let us know what you guys do for a living and also like your social media handles. So we'll start with you, Nakai.
Yes. So I run an estate planning company. I help individuals plan for their legacy, generational wealth. And my social media is Ask Nakai, and that's ASKNEKEI.
Love it. How'd you get into that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I lost someone very close to me, and I realized how important it is to make sure that you have things set up like your will, your trust, life insurance. My family member did not have life insurance, so we had to do a GoFundMe, and it was a very hard thing, especially for a family, to have to raise funds. And it happens a lot in our community. So I wanted to be able to make things a lot easier, fun for individuals to just know like how the process is and, have the conversation a little bit more openly.
Hi.
Okay.
My name is Falasha. I own a few daycares in Stamford, Connecticut. I taught in New York City public schools for 10 years. So I transitioned to owning small daycare centers. I have a podcast, iPod. It's called Power to Pivot Podcast. It just empowers female entrepreneurs.
That's
Nice.
dope. So the daycare, I got a couple little minions I could bring over there.
Yes, bring them. I love kids. I love children. I have 3 girls. I have 3 daughters.
So do you have any friendships that have daycares that are closer over here? Connecticut's a bit far.
Jersey, I'll find out for you. I have a lot of daycare owner friends.
No. I need daycare owner friends that are gonna like give me the
Yeah, I
yeah,
do.
give me the
I
good
do.
price.
Ask for what you want.
I'll circle back.
I'm paying
I'm
rent.
It's a lot of money. It's a lucrative business. It's a $1 billion industry.
How many kids are in one of your daycares? I'm just curious.
I have one center with 9 children. I have one center with 32 children. I have 2 centers.
32?
Yes. And my future goal is to franchise. So
32 children?
yes.
20. Wow.
What's your
60,000,
Instagram?
My
70.
Instagram is Falashology at FALASHOLOGY. Falashology.
Now,
That'll be written down there.
Thank you.
y'all.
I need people to understand how much daycare really is. Like,
It's a lot.
especially like
I charge very low in my median. The median in my area is $600 a week.
exactly. So if you do the see, and I was given
I'm trying
about
to count pockets now. You're
Nah,
counting pockets
I already counted.
Hey.
First of all, I
You
counted
already
it
calculated
immediately.
it.
It's
I have
immediately.
staff. I have like a whole.
Oh,
the whole
I
thing.
understand
Yeah, so I
overhead.
have to pay
Trust
a
me.
lot of people.
Rent.
Listen,
I got rent. Got a lot of stuff to do.
cash flow is great.
Yeah,
Cash
it
flow is
It
great.
is.
Damn. So you know what? Maybe I should own some daycares. So then
I'm
I could.
franchising, so I'll buy one from you.
You gonna run a daycare?
I'm gonna franchise my own one now.
Yeah. Just hire people.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should start daddy daycare.
Oh,
Wow.
what's it do?
All-
All daycare.
Me and you, right? We just pod with them little kids.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the
Just
funniest
throw 'em
thing is
snacks.
That's so cool.
that's crazy. That's like fetch. But I actually stay on the lookout. I got my daughter podding. She's 3.
That's so cute.
2025. She's about to go viral.
Viral.
So yeah, she's very smart though. She's like,
Nice.
so she gotta start making
I'm
me
a
my money
baby
back.
whisperer. Every child likes me.
You a baby whisperer?
Every kid loves me.
Ooh.
Wait, she's turning 3?
No, she's turning 4.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, she's like
She's going to
14.
kindergarten soon.
pre-K first. Yeah, I'm gonna start her late.
3K. Do y'all call that?
They have
3K.
3K, 3K, but she didn't go to 3K. So let's talk about this because I think it's something very important to address. The fires.
Fires.
Yes.
I was
Los
just
Angeles.
thinking about that.
My sister
too.
just texted me. She's got to evacuate.
Where does she?
Wow,
Where does she
where's
live?
Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills. So the valleys now.
I saw
Wow.
her Instagram story this morning, and it was the smoke coming down
Oh
from
man.
as far away as it was, and then the next one was she put something else up. So then I text her. I was like, "What's going on?" She was like, "Oh, I'm just packing all my stuff up." And then on the way here, she texted me. They just sent us an evacuation thing, so she gotta get out of there.
Wow.
You know what so I don't know exactly how accurate this is, but I just heard that a week ago, a lot of insurance companies,
Well, I'm in insurance. I'm an insurance agent.
please do tell us what just happened with the insurance and the
No.
wildfires.
I mean, they're definitely, especially when it comes to like the risk and claims. So remember, I mean, like the whole goal is insurance. They want to make money, right? So you're paying your premiums to make money, of course. And of course, if something happens, but if you have several covered incidents in a whole area, I mean, think about like that's thousands upon millions upon maybe even billions at this point. Because those homes were like, what, over there at least
Like
30K,
Yeah.
like $30 million each?
Yeah.
40 million?
But the Malibu area at first, yeah, it was
Yeah.
all by the beach.
Yeah.
But now it's even like the Palisades, the entire Palisades has been wiped.
Wow.
my goodness.
And another
Yeah.
thing, like I had even mentioned something that we do in our company. So, like example, you said your family member, she's like packing and preparing and stuff like that. So there's something that we did develop, which is a fireproof bag. So that'll at least allow you to put all your documents. There's certain things that you need to have. So if you're going to put a claim, right, you need your, from your policies, from the insurance, your deed, stuff like that, your insurance card, all of these things. And if you're running, there's fire around you, you want to be prepared. The most importantly, you can't carry a safe out. People are like, oh, I have my safe. Like, it's hard to have the safe plus all your bags and all that stuff. So,
That's
yeah.
But my
very
thing-
funny that you mentioned that because I had a conversation with my mom and my sister today because, the fires are all over social media
Yeah.
and the news and stuff. So we're like, what if our house was burning? I was like, what would you guys grab? What would be the plan? So I said, me personally, I'm grabbing my passport. It's right at my bedside. So I was like, I don't think I can let that burn. So I'm grabbing my passport. I don't think that I would grab anything else but my handbag if I can get to it. And I said, Mom, I don't know if Dad will be in the house, but you have to grab his safe. I was like, and sometimes he hides the key to the safe in like different places. Like every time he tells me to go in there, the key is always somewhere different. So I was like, the key may burn, but you have to grab the safe.
Right.
And then she was like, no, like, it's in I don't know what she said. It was in some kind of case that wouldn't be able to burn. And I was like, girl, I don't even trust that. Just bring it.
Yeah, no. Our cases run over 5,600 degrees Fahrenheit. So it can burn for like 10 minutes. So you want to put all your stuff in something
What
that
about
is
after 10
fireproof.
minutes?
After 10. Oh, you want to be out of the house by then.
I know, but the fire will be
She's saying
still
that you
going.
take the bag with
No,
you.
you take the bag with you.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so like, let's say something drops and there's fire dropping on you, anything like that. You know what I mean? You don't be running out with your passport. You want to put it in something secure. And then, your birth certificate, social security cards, all the things you're going to need to kind of file a claim.
That actually, so my building, they've terrible. They have like these false fire alarms, right?
Yeah, same.
So it got to a point where I wouldn't even go out anymore. And I thought about it one day. I was like, this one time is probably fucking real.
Yeah.
And then I walked outside to the hall and I smelled the smoke. I said, oh, this shit is real. So I got my dog and I went downstairs and I actually thought about it and I was like, oh, I started adding up everything I had in their inventory, everything. So I'm like, I looked at my insurance and I said, oh, this shit not covered. So I'm like, wait, I'm like, yo, as soon as the fire trucks got there, I'm like, I really need him to get everything under control because the next day I up my renter's insurance. I swear to God. Next day I pay a couple $100. Like, yo, listen, I need this.
But even certain things, even the renter's insurance, you got to make sure that you actually have the pictures of the things, the description of the things already. Yeah, just because you have renter's insurance doesn't mean you're going to get, a claim. They need to have pictures. They need to have video, some of them. Like they need receipts, So there's actually companies that do an inventory of your home and even your clothes. Like your clothes are each worth something, your shoes, your hats, all of those things. So you want to make sure that you get everything itemized and you have a running total of everything.
Wow. But now, so that's crazy and that's good to know. And
No, but that's a lot to document.
but like,
There's companies that do it for you.
so I have a thought, right? It's just gonna take just weird. It's just weird timing that a week prior to this crazy burn that went from top of Malibu all the way down. A week prior to insurances, then void all the fire insurance or protection for their homes. I just thought that it was kind of odd.
I thought that was
Yeah,
odd.
like they took them out.
I
Like
saw that today too, because as soon as I saw the
Like, they
fires
knew something
happening,
was coming.
right? As soon as I saw the fires happening, I was like, okay, well, I'm sure they have insurance for this stuff anyway, because LA, there's always, California, really, fires happen, often. I feel like in the past few years, so I thought that the insurance was going to cover everything. It was so crazy to see
They
that.
also said it hadn't rained there like in so long.
There's always a drought in Cali, though.
yeah, but that's normal,
So what they knew,
But that's
That's
why
like
the
literally
insurance
every
is
year.
always usually
that
in
though?
place because of the kind of
Every year
climate
there's
that they
fires
have there.
in LA.
I also kind of saw something about 2028 and the LA smart cities. So that's also a plan that's coming.
what is
Smart
that?
cities?
Yeah. So it's having to deal with like the rebuilding of LA.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally want to be able to do a whole new infrastructure. So that might be a reason.
And I was just thinking about that because I'm like, they showed a picture of Palisades and it's like the complete town is wiped.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. Rubbish.
That picture was crazy.
But the crazy thing is, it's like that's something that happens every year. When I had first moved to LA, there was that fire, I think in Malibu, and it burned down the Kardashians' house, I think. A bunch of like big upper echelon people, families. And I remember I walked outside and the whole sky was like gray. And I know in June they have the June gloom where it's already like gloomy, but this was like a weird gray and it smelled like barbecue. And I had no idea. I've never lived in California prior to that, you know? So then I'm like, what's happening? So I'm driving into the city and then everybody's telling, like, as I'm driving, it's getting darker, right? As I'm getting closer. And I can only imagine what's happening right now. Actually, you guys remember, you're in the area in New York and New Jersey. Remember when
I remember that.
Orange skies?
Yeah, we had the orange sky for like, what, 3 or 4 days?
That was crazy.
The Canadian fires.
The Canadian wildfires, yeah.
Was that
You could
last
smell
year or
it.
was that
We smelled it
2023
too,
now?
right?
Like barbecue, right?
Yeah, we smelled it. I was like, wait, the smell, stench.
Yeah.
So that's what people don't understand. Like, you can get dropped from your insurance policy at any time.
But do they
But it's-
inform you?
I would assume so.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, because I'm like,
But then you got to find another carrier,
yeah.
you know, that's willing to
I got
take
dropped
you.
from car insurance.
So I mean, all right. So if it was months before, then there
many
had to
months?
find. I would hope that you found
Well,
another
it
carrier.
says that they were trying to attempt to avoid financial failure. Because that could literally bankrupt the company.
I actually commented that when I first saw the first fire. I said, "Oh, these insurance companies are going bankrupt this year." It's the first thing I said, but I didn't know that this happened.
They shouldn't be though. These people pay a lot of money every month for insurance.
But that's my
All
thing.
these years.
It's like certain areas, you know, the type of like unfortunate events that happen. So like you typically, I don't want to say you're forced, but a lot of these insurance policies, like you have to cover certain things, right? And I think like California, specifically speaking, probably has wildfires that are very big, like every like couple years or so.
Every year.
Yeah. So like, why would they even, you know, like you shouldn't even have an insurance company there, to be honest.
Exactly.
Like, what are you insuring then? I have a theory, and this is a little bit of a stretch, and it may seem like I'm biased, but hear me out. So Hollywood started in New Jersey. This is a real fact. You can Google it.
Wow.
It was in the early 1900s. And over the last 3 to 5 years, you saw Lionsgate move here. You saw Netflix move here. Netflix is now building in South Jersey, and they have, I think it's $1 billion. Yeah, and they have the biggest tax credit for film and entertainment with 40%. And now you're seeing so many different big Lionsgate, all these big companies and corporations moving to New Jersey. And I was always saying that everything has to recycle. So I just find it weird that the time frame that all these big, conglomerates are now moving, and they're going to the places where obviously New York City is right there.
I think
You
it
know?
was in Atlanta.
Well, they did it to Atlanta, right? So Atlanta,
Now it's
then they had
back.
Houston, and now they have LA, right? And I feel as if they probably did it because they're going to be moving a lot of things out. That's just, they cleaning up shop, if you ask me. It sounds crazy, but I think it's because they're going to be moving a lot of stuff to the East Coast.
Okay. Anybody else have a crazy conspiracy?
I already told you, 2028, smart cities.
I
Just
believe
Google
it.
it.
Trying to burn it down.
I'm with smart cities.
Yeah.
I kind of see that.
Anyway.
We're about to have a smart city now in New York too, though, with the congestion, the cameras everywhere. They're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get
They
that
want to
done.
make LA a smart city. So there's a plan if you Google it, 2028, LA smart cities plan, building infrastructure.
So that's basically everything being controlled by
Electronics.
electronics and basically
Videos,
tracking you,
cameras, tracking.
and knowing where you're going to be and where you're not going to be, and almost like, what was that movie?
It's like China. I spit a piece of gum out in Dubai last summer, right? But I wasn't thinking. I was thinking like I was in New Jersey. And I was like, this shit was out of flavor. I'm like, pff. Then I actually got scared. Like I actually got scared. And we were driving. We made it worse, so I couldn't go back and pick it up. And I'm like, oh my God, here comes some crazy. I'm like, yo, bro. He's like, did you just spit that out? I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, oh, And then
for
literally,
anything.
like there's cameras like every like quarter mile. So I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna be locked up here. But I wasn't, thank God. And but I
You're pulling
think
up that footage right now.
yeah, I probably can't go back. But they told me, because I went out there and I had my chains on. They were like, yo, listen, you don't want to wear jewelry here because what they actually do is this, like you come out here and as soon as you walk into customs, they scan your face, they keep your face identified. Now, anywhere you go, they're watching you. They're watching. They know your every move. They see who you're meeting. They know what type of business. And if you start to do big business, because I was there for business, they're like, you have to do it a certain way because if they start to figure out, and everybody's not, like good. Some of them are crooked. If they figure out the type of people that you're meeting, they're going to assume the type of business that you're doing. They're going to come here to get you before anything happens. So like when I learned that, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And now a smart city here in California, a very corrupt place. Are you kidding me? Like I would never live there.
Finished.
I would never live there.
Right.
New York is all right. It's too many people in there. Like they barely be
like 10 other people.
well, not me, maybe Amanda, but
I have different hairstyles.
Right,
You'll never catch me.
that's what I'm saying. She look like 10 other people. Like
She gonna have blue hair.
today she looked like Sapphire. Tomorrow she'll look like Ruby.
Okay. So somebody wrote in to ask Amanda, Crystal, hey girl,
There you
Crystal
go.
wants to
My
know,
boss used to do that.
why does my mom always put her boyfriends before her kids? Ooh.
Oh shit.
Every time
Talk about it, Chris.
she gets a new boyfriend, she treats us differently. And when they leave, I'm left to pick up the pieces. What should I do? Get a new mama? I'm just kidding.
I'm assuming Crystal's a girl, right? I'm assuming Crystal's a
Yes.
girl.
First of all, your mom don't like you to begin with. She's tired of you, and that new D came around, and that's got her
How old-
focused. So
You don't know.
It was
you
a
shouldn't do
very short
nothing. You should
mom.
get your own place and get out.
That's what.
Mama gotta have a life too, Crystal.
Well, first of all, as a 22-year-old, I think that Crystal should exit her mom's private life. I don't know why you're picking up any pieces. That woman is a grown woman. If she is always in and out of a relationship and she's putting her relationship before her kids, maybe you need to be a grown adult and exit out of there.
Just
Well, we see this a lot though. And Crystal could have probably been experiencing this since she was a small girl. Now she's able to express it because she's a young lady and she's tired of it. We see this a lot in households that women, when they're not with the child's father anymore, they're looking for another man, and their heart now becomes into the seeking mode of a man, forgetting about the kids that they created with an ex. And it's trauma. The kids go through trauma from that. So Crystal probably could have been going through this since she was a small child, and now she's able to express herself. So it's messed up. Like, take care of your kids. Like, when you have these children and these men leave and you're not with these men anymore, you still have a responsibility with these kids. The man does too, but you do too as a mom, and you still got to show up as a mom. Whether she's 23, 30, she's going to be your kid forever. It don't go away, like we said.
Right.
So
And I
we got to
also-
do a better job with making sure we prioritize like our relationship with our children, and then, seeking out relationships that are not with our kids' father. I think women struggle with that. Some people
He's the
say
guy.
that women's desire is for a man, right? This is even scriptural. Women's desire, their hearts is for a man. So they always, if they don't have it, they always going to be seeking out for it because that's the desire that was placed in us as women. But do you neglect like your children? They came out of you. They birthed you. I just believe women that don't deal with their kids the right way, you don't love yourself. The self-love got to come in at some point because them kids came out of your body. So if you're neglecting your kids, it's some part of you that you need to really figure out.
You saw what Waka Flocka said a couple days ago or a week ago?
Hey, Waka Flocka.
He said something that was really like dope though, because I didn't think about it. He said back in the day, men had 4 or 5 kids. Nowadays, these kids got 4 or 5 fathers. And everybody's like, this doesn't make sense of it. I'm like, you all are idiots, and I hope you don't procreate.
Because Tammy ain't give him no baby, but that's true.
But that's the problem because like, you keep on recycling dads
It's true.
for your kid. Like it might be a boyfriend for you, but you're recycling father figures, whether it be a girl or a daughter or a son. It's traumatizing for this person, and it's also showing no stability. It's a lot of times, and I'm not going to say all the times, that person emulates the principles that you had
Absolutely.
and the morals, right? So whatever you lack, they lack the same. And it's unfortunate for those kids because, you know, I hate when I hear it because a lot of times we always hear, oh, you don't live for other people's kids, or, you know, like this whole thing, but we forget that, like, I believe like how you treat your kid is typically how you treat other kids.
That's true.
Right? So, and if you treat your kid with the utmost respect and you have like an appreciation for your child and you're delicate with them because you understand that everything is very impressionable for them and it could be good or bad, you also operate that same way around other people's children too. And when I'm just saying this because I feel like if she didn't care to dismiss her own child, I know how she was in the community. And I feel like we as a community collectively have way too many people like her who are literally parasites for children's futures. I had just watched, there was a documentary on Amazon about Haitian, child trafficking. And there was some guy, he was like a detective, and he ended up fighting these cases on his own, and he had to raise the money individual or by himself. So then when I saw them and they were like, hey, I couldn't even speak. They were speaking like fluent Spanish. So I was like, what? Like I was kind of lost. But then she showed me the kids. And I got kids, right? So she showed me the kids and she was like, you know, then she pressed like in English and I was reading it. And so like I subscribe and like it's so crazy like how many kids are missing or how many kids are being abused, how many kids are getting raped, how many kids are growing up with these types of parents, which is not as bad, but it is very bad, you know? Because like, how do you rebound as a person who's never got proper love from your parent who is the only one that you had?
Just grow up with that trauma. She's going to have it and she's going to be searching for it in men, you know, and that's what we're seeing like displayed throughout our generation. So they're looking for something that they didn't get from their parents, whether it be mom or dad. So they're always searching out for that. So right now she's searching out for her mom to just be seen by her mom, right? And then that can just translate into being seen by.
Like what type of behaviors do you possibly see that ultimately, you know, have, the conclusion of that child's at home life is similar to this? Like what type of behaviors do you see from the outside?
I dealing with children from the large spectrum, whether them teens to young children. Now with young children, I have a child in my facility that's in the system. He got taken away from his mom within while he was at our daycare. Mom had an issue with dad. They came in, took the kid. The kid is still in my daycare, but neither mom nor dad don't have him, right? So he's been with me now. This happened a year ago. This happened on Christmas Day last year. Damn. So now this is a different child now because he's not getting the love that although his parents were in the toxic environment, he still was getting love from them, right? So now him being in the system, you see a different child because now he's more prone to wanting to get hugs and love from us because he's probably not getting that at home. So we don't know how that's going to translate, right, once he gets older. So I think that a lot of times, even like we're saying, like she's grown, she could go out on her own or whatever like that, going back to the prompt, like she can, right? But there's something that she hasn't been getting from her mom. And then you're just repeatedly showing your child like something else it means more to me than you. So that becomes your self-worth, your self-esteem, all of that. It plays a part in all of that in the child. So you just see the difference in them. And you see a difference in that child and the child that's home with their parents, that's being loved on by their parents. It's just a happy, different child, you know? So you just see the difference in the dynamic. You can see the children when they come in, whose parents are giving them hugs at night, whose parents are like there with them. You could just see the difference in the behaviors and everything. So what we do, even the time we spend with our kids, don't take it for granted because at that young age, it affects them. That 0 to 5 years, everything you're doing within that time, they're a sponge. Like it's going to affect them. And even in those, I have a teenager. So even in those ages, when they get older, they still need you to be there for them. So it's not just like kick her out. Like, no, she needs guidance. She needs you to be there for her to figure it out because it's hard out here. This life is hard.
It's so much different. And I think what really happened, and it goes into our system and our laws as well. Like back then, you know, let's just say 1920, you could possibly be a man at 18 because because life was nowhere near as intricate and the depths of it was not there and the difficulties were nowhere near as it is today with all this technology, moving parts and all these new variables. It's so hard to be able to, just make proper decisions. So back then it was simple. It was A, B. You go to school, you go to work. You go to school, you go to school.
Yeah.
You get a career.
Yeah.
Now it's entrepreneurship. Now it's you can't make $20,000 and be my husband. He could have made $5,000 that might have been equivalent to $30,000 and been your husband back then. So the demands for people and the expectations of people and how much more different life is today is harder for you to be a man at 18 or a woman at 18, right? Back then you could. So I think that's why, and I think people are living longer because the ones that should have been dead, they just prolonged their life 20 more years so they could rack up some more bread. Like, are they living longer or are they alive longer? Because there's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I just think that life is way too hard now to be an adult at 18 versus being an adult at 18 100 years ago. And
Are you defining adult as moving out of your house at 18?
I'm telling you, moving out, being able to afford to live on your own, being able to afford to have a family, there's so much social pressure that we're talking about. We had an earlier conversation about a doctor and a tow truck driver who are making probably the same money, if not the tow truck fleet owner is probably making more money, right? And because of social circles and prestige, he doesn't fit in. Mm-hmm. So now he's going through any type of insecurities, doubts, or questions within himself. But honestly, if we take these same numerics and these same jobs 100 years ago, that prestige doesn't exist.
That's true.
Right? So now we deal with so many more different things. So to be an adult at 18 is extremely hard versus back then, in my opinion.
Mm.
You just left high school. What job you really getting to really afford to live on your own? They don't even make it. Chipotle, you could get an apartment. So
back then, right?
But now it's not even possible. Yeah.
Your parent doesn't understand how much life has changed in the last generation plus 3 years since you were born. They don't understand it. So they're not it's hard for them to really, they're just thinking about what they were able to do. Mm-hmm. But, 18 years, the entire world can change. You know what I'm saying? So I think now it's hard.
A lot of the basic jobs that we used to have before, they're all gone. A lot of stores are closing,
right.
So what do they have left? Be on TikTok and become a TikTok star and
that's what they doing.
Do an Amazon shop,
And here, I wish we could pull it up. I saw this a while ago. They had the, and I think it was from the 70s. They had a scale of the time periods per decade. Or per year, really, but from the cost of living to the average amount that Americans were making. And they were pretty much aligned. Then it started to grow.
Crazy.
So now, literally, and mind you, the ticker only went up a little bit from the 70s to now, right? But the cost of living had went up over 10 times. So you're still making the same amount of money in a 10 times more expensive world.
It really makes no sense.
So you can't be a man at 18 no more. You could have been a man at 18 in 1975. You possibly could have.
Yeah.
Right? 1980. You cannot be a man at
18. Literally when my mom moved here, and that was 94, she was doing so much younger than me. My mom was 23. And she moved to New York on her own, had her own apartment. She was going to school. Mind you, my mom was here by herself. Her parents weren't here. She came here by herself. And I always thought it was so crazy that she was able to do. I think it's crazy now because younger me, I'm okay, well, by the time I'm 23, I'm going to be doing this and this and this because my mom did it.
Right.
I was girl.
No.
No.
And even if you did, you don't get paid the same.
That part.
My grandfather came in this country, never finished 8th grade, and was a correction officer. Right? And by the time he was 25, 30, he was making close to $100,000 a year.
Wow.
But that was what? 2000 maybe? Cause he's 60 now. Right? So, he's made a lot of money, but he was able to do that without an 8th grade education. I mean, without schooling past, 8th grade.
Right.
Do you know how hard it is to make money without a GED?
Right.
like you can't even make a living.
So, to the two single women on the couch, does the fear of how everything is set up and knowing that how hard it is out here, does that play into any type of like decision making as you're looking for a mate or a partner? You know, are you fearful that the person you pick has to basically pick up the other slack in order to build something together? Is that like a fear you guys have just as women? Because I feel like as a man, we just got to get it regardless.
Right. I wouldn't necessarily say that's like a fear, but it is a concern.
Okay.
Because if you decide to have a mate who is not, maybe on your level financially,
Mm-hmm.
and you want more in life, you want to live a certain lifestyle, and he can't contribute to that, that's definitely an issue. And especially I've come across some men who are even like, well, it's a 50-50 thing, that kind of thing. And it's like, well, when it comes to that, especially when it comes to money, I mean, the basics, I think a man should be able to provide. Like, you can't put a roof or, be able to at least have a roof over my head and some food over the table, at least at that minimum, for the lifestyle we both want to be able to have.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to 50-50, my money is, of course, my money, and I want to be able to contribute as need be if we need to, especially if we're married. Sure, all the finances are going into one, but if we're just dating and, that's kind of what you want, it's one of those things where I need to make sure that you can be able to provide. So as inflation is growing, as the economy is changing, as social media is putting all of these, aspects into it, like, we want to make sure that, especially as a woman, that we're putting our needs out there when it comes to our finances, when it comes to inflation, because in 20-10 years, it's going to be, increased, like at least 2.45%.
22. 22%.
22%.
I don't know. At this rate, I don't know what the hell is going to be.
Right? So whatever you're making now, if you got a GED and you're making like, 50,000 now.
Do you think so?
I'm just saying.
People would have.
I'm just saying. Okay, let's say I was just trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
Bro, the average income salary is like 44,000.
Let's say, all right, let's give or take, 40,000, right? So you're at least at 40,000. I mean, there's only so much you can make. Like here in New Jersey, each state, I actually saw a map where each state, it's pretty much averaging what's the cost of living. So here in New Jersey, to live comfortably, guess what that number is?
What, like an hour or what?
About 100. You said it right, exactly.
Yeah.
We need 100,000. So at least if I'm making 50 and you're making 50, okay, now we can live comfortable. You know
what comfortable is?
What kid in there is?
A comfortable.
That's not even with a kid.
Yeah, that's what
Exactly.
Like comfortable is definitely not 100,000. Like that ended 7 years ago, bro. I think that I had a single mom who, majority of my life, who was able to acquire so much success. Her success was my competition. Like that was the bar. Good. So like when I was 18 and I was able to go to college, I was like, yeah, I'm going out of state because I want to prove to myself too that I could survive. But you still, when you're dormant, everything is really taken care of. You just got to not fuck it up. That's the only thing you got to not do.
Right.
So, but at that age, you don't know that, so.
On your own though.
Yeah, so I wanted to be on my own. And then obviously, I realized I couldn't live with my mom either because I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. Right. So that was always my ambition,
So yeah, when it comes to that, so inflation is probably going to be growing within, bring it back a little more. So, all right, if we consider like, all right, inflation is going to be growing, let's say, 2.5% to 3%, right? Those couples that band together, that really know how to structure their money, plan, save when it comes to for their vacations, buying more property, having more income, having more assets and things like that coming in. Those are the couples that are going to survive. Those are the same couples because most of when it comes to like retirement and especially here in the U.S., like our generation, we're not really saving for retirement. We're really going to be working till we die, literally. Most people don't know that the average American needs at least $3 million at least saved. $3 million. Do you have $3 million saved? You do?
No, I don't.
Right?
I wish.
If you think about it, right, and you kind of like average that, then the way you calculate it, you just figure out how much am I going to need per year to survive, right? And then comfortably, right, with your bills paid, with maybe a house paid, maybe not, right? If you have kids, you want to, maybe they're out of the house, maybe they're contributing. right? So you want to know, especially as an American, like, where do I stand? How do I plan my life better? Because if we're a couple, we're dating, we want to have date night, we want to travel, we want to do that, but it's got to be in the budget. It's got to be a budget. And some people live and you have the extravagant lifestyles, displayed on social media. They're going all these places, but really, like, what do they really know about their money, right? So that's exactly how I see it.
What about those people who, this is their argument, right?
Yeah.
So the argument is those people who work so hard and they save so much, experience so little, and then, they get told that they have cancer. Or I know somebody who one of my friends, their job did a big cut in workers, and this one woman gave 30 years of her life, and they said, "You're done." And like, I feel like what happens is those couples that don't want to save or not saving properly. I'm not condoning this, by the way, but I think that they rather live life while they can and worry about how to survive at the tail end of their life than trying to live life at the tail end, try and prepare for their survival at the same time, 20, 30, 50 years down the line. Well, I had a driver who was definitely older. When I had my 5 stores, I hired 2 kids and I fired one of them. I would hire the older person, to be honest. I would hire an older person before I hire a younger person, especially in today's age. The younger person typically is not as obedient. They're not as respectful, right, and they don't care as much to do. So if I tend to hire people older than me all the time. Actually, now that I think about it.
It depends on the work, though. It depends on what kind of work they're doing, and just be realistic. The younger person,
if you need a young, strong
9 times
boy,
out of 10, the younger person gonna get the job. The point he's trying to
these
make,
young boys ain't strong. What are we talking about?
The point he's trying to make is your earning years. You need to work hard, because once you get to a certain age, you're not going to be able to do what you were able to do when you were younger. So
like, when is your earning years over?
When you learn
your body gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
No, it's a number. It's a number. It's a number. It's a number. You can't just stop working.
Well, no, I feel that for me, I've learned to work smarter, not harder, and my body tells me when to do that. Like, I'm not doing this anymore,
Right.
So I'll find an alternative way to do this.
Correct.
So I just do it smarter, and that's for me. I ain't trying to work hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it 35?
Is
it up to 45?
Your earning years are definitely in your
Depends on what you
20s
50?
I agree with
to
that.
at least maybe the max 50, but definitely between those years.
20 to 50.
I would say from 20 to like 50.
So 30
Reason
years of
be,
working. 30 years of working.
About 30 years of working. If you saving up and you're investing your money with 30 years of working, you could pretty much be set. Like, if you just stayed the course and like really hustle.
I agree.
Right? But if you play around and you're like, oh no, it's all right, I'll wait. Right? You don't want to save. You don't want to invest. You don't want to buy stocks. You don't want to, understand difference. Maybe there's AI stuff coming out. Like, how can I make money? If you're not really about that hustle and grind, you're going to be lost. Right?
I think that most people, there is no, I think your earning years is forever in America, because I don't think majority of people can afford to retire even when they do plan right. Planning perfect and planning right is not the same. There's some people who do get money and they might have like $3,000 a month that they can possibly budget or so, right? Well, I'm not saying budget, but acquire for when they retire.
Right.
But $3,000 a month nowadays, you still can't survive.
But that's only if you have a parent who didn't plan for you. Now, if you had a parent who planned for you the day that you were born, for those people who have kids, by the time they're 60s and their 50s, they could already have an account with over $1 million. Literally, all you got to do is put like $200 a month aside. And that's something I tell people all the time. Like, listen, if you got, just that with 200, I can show you on the chart, honey. You start from the time that child literally is like 1 all the way to like for 60 years of that investment, like literally that child will have over $1 million plus. Like, it's crazy. And this is what, the other, societies or other, races do for their kids. But we don't talk about that, when it comes to our people.
But that was actually shocking to me, because you would think that it's more. Because that's almost 1 out of every 2 people who are wealthy have been able to acquire it from the ground up, right? Rather than have it be passed down. I was shocked on the opposite end. I would think it was 80-20 that was inherited. Yeah, that's almost 50% of new wealthy people, new wealthy generations, every so often, whatever the time frame is. That means 1 out of 2 people that are wealthy were able to acquire it, rather it get handed to them, which is crazy to me. Because for me, I always thought more often than not, wealth is given from their ancestors, their mom, their dad. Yeah, it's given to them and not earned. But that just goes to show that there's probably more new wealthy people than there is, ancestral wealth. Is that the girl that was on here?
Successful people cheat. That's a reality.
Oh,
all right. Let's break this down by income. If a man makes less than $50,000 a year, that man probably faithful. But if he makes like 50 to 100 grand, that means he thinks about it, but he won't act on it. That's me. You got nothing to worry about that.
What?
100 grand to $500,000 means he's definitely cheating. And then anything over $500,000 just means his wife knows his mistress by name. So like I
He's right.
He's right.
Any man who gives his wife a car with a big bow on it is probably cheating. Those Lexus Christmas commercials are darker than you think.
This goes back to
That goes back to what Alan said, the reality.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Wow. I mean,
that is pretty dark, but I won't disagree.
You see it with the
I
rappers,
won't
Baby
trust no
Moms.
rich man. I will just say that.
Would you marry him?
No.
no. He said no.
I'm going to marry the one that thinks about it but doesn't act on it.
So
Don't got
75.
nothing to worry
So
about.
it's not tied to
What
income.
man is that?
Like,
the man
an
he
amount.
just talked about.
$100,000
The 100,
range.
yeah,
Is
the
that
100.
500,000 a million, or is that
100,000.
That was
is-
100,000.
Oh, okay.
That
okay,
range.
okay.
Well, I said
You're
like
gonna be all right with that.
I think the man should let his intentions be known and let the woman choose.
he didn't choose.
Like, meaning let your intentions be known. If you're a millionaire, multimillionaire, and then you're going to have multiple women, the women should know. And if they agree with it, they agree with it.
Listen, if they,
But they're not always gonna do that.
No, or you.
Oh, they should let a lot of the women. These men, what?
But I'm not. How about this? Take it off the man.
Okay.
If you met a man and you weren't married,
Uh-huh.
and he was making $500,000 to $1 million, you think he would be faithful off rip?
I don't know.
This
I don't
is
agree with
crazy.
that sentiment. I don't know. Every man is different. So they're saying that they might not. They might. I make that money.
We know.
Yeah.
32.
So that's not like a lot of money
25.
for you to say that you don't want a family. Every man's
No, he didn't say they want a family. We're talking about cheating.
And we're talking about
Yeah,
men.
like you care about having your being monogamous with a woman. That money, I don't think money has
What?
I don't
That
think
is
so.
insane.
I don't think it's tied to a dollar amount, really and truly. Like a man gonna
It's a
cheat
man.
regardless.
Yeah.
If
he
he
can.
making 25,000, or he making 500,000,
That's the kind of man he is. That's
Yeah,
what he's
that's
gonna
who
do.
he is.
But you don't think the
I
probability
mean, that's
is
the kind of
higher with
man.
I
the more
do.
amount that he makes?
I do think the
That
probability
was my
is
original
higher.
question.
Okay, the probability is higher.
How
but
high? How high is the probability?
Here
though?
we go.
I want to know what probability. What is it? Is it like
Probability is?
60%?
probability.
Yeah.
Depends on the man.
Higher.
What?
Extremely high.
70%.
Okay.
More like
The
88,
30%
I'm just tired of
will be
being naive,
faithful.
so I'm not even
Guess
gonna
what?
agree
I'm an
with that.
amazing woman. He ain't gonna want cheat.
95%.
95.
Man.
Right, you men, if you're making that amount of money, can you be monogamous with a woman? You. You. Sorry.
I can be monogamous by love.
Can you?
Uh-huh.
Would you?
About how much?
Mm.
About you're a millionaire, multimillionaire.
I've been
Yearly,
there.
by the way.
Yeah. So like, does
But
your money?
You gotta understand when you're talking.
show if you are going to be able to stay with one woman or not?
Mm.
Is that a factor? The amount of money you make.
When you're talking M's, though, you're talking M's. You know, the class of ladies is different. They
Class
different.
of ladies or class C ladies? What'd you say?
Class of women,
Oh.
there's different kind of caliber.
They keep secrets.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. Keep your secret. Just pay
You know.
me. Okay.
No. You
on
got
a
the
different
milk. She's
level.
saying that your mistress or whoever would keep the secret.
I never trusted that, honestly.
Okay.
I know that.
NDAs. They do NDAs.
They don't care about that either.
It's not
They still
shit.
come out.
No.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm a different breed. I tell my girl.
Are you?
You know, listen, they know. They know.
I mean, just answer the question.
I was about to say you taking a little long to really answer the question.
Okay,
so
the answer is I'll just tell my girl, like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, like
My-
if you want to see somebody else.
No, my girl will get them. Why not have both of them?
Okay.
I don't got to cheat if my girl like girls. Duh.
you?
Me?
Yeah.
Little old Rico?
Me?
I have no ego, first of all. I just have reality.
Okay.
Reality.
Reality.
You wanted
Reality.
20%
You want the
of
tea.
her
Go
whole
ahead.
fucking
Give us the
career.
tea.
Because I paid for
You
it.
wanted the tight.
So, I mean, listen. If I'm making $1 million,
in 2025.
if I'm making $1 million a year, could I be monogamous? By love,
Aw.
charge my heart. Or don't charge my heart,
A
baby.
good woman came along. Like everything that you.
But I love you. But the thing is this, like,
But-
I would never make that promise.
Mhm.
I would never make that promise because I know I don't need $1 million to be successful at cheating, first of all.
That's true.
Right? So if
She just said you could do it with 10,000, 20,000.
Sure can.
They doing it out
They
here.
do it in these streets. I'm gonna tell you.
It's tough.
Nothing.
y'all.
and I got the good class too. Right? So a mil just keeps me around the
World
longer.
is my oyster. If I don't get it here, I'm gonna get it here.
Okay.
Don't worry about
It sounds good.
niggas
Access.
like this.
I think it's not for me.
Things like this.
For a lot of people, it is access. But when you ask me, I have access. So
Yeah.
for me, it's really about like
Tell them.
He has access.
Lots of access.
Access could be greater than money as well.
it is access leads to a lots amount of
So
amount of
there you
money,
go. So that
right? So
that's a different conversation altogether.
like right now, I'm choosing to do it. But if you ask me, because
You
I
don't need the money. You
I
don't
can't,
need
yeah, because I can go get what I want, right? But the thing is, it's really a choice, and I can't subscribe to something forever because depending on how you act will make my money do more things than it would do depending on how you act, right? You know, my money might put me in a room where I know what I'm gonna do before I got there, and they knew it too, right? But depending on how she is, and again, I really do think that women that get cheated on most times are just not really pleasing the man. That's it. And it's not because, you know, her sex is bad. It's because for most men, one woman will never be good enough. And that's the truth. Now, can he suppress it? Of course. Can a man learn to accept that reality? Of course. But for most men that have the ability,
It's a choice, though.
it's a capacity, not an ability, not a choice. It's a capacity. So,
It's a choice.
because I could try as hard as I want, but once I reach my full limit, I gotta go outside, right? So it's a capacity. It's not a choice, right? So it just depends on a man.
You
Honestly.
gotta go outside.
It depends on a man, bro.
See, we're
Go
telling you.
outside. Did you
Some men, I'm gonna be honest.
saw that?
I really believe it's a double-edged sword, right? If you are a person who had been able to, you know, have access to a man who has been able to have access to
Oh,
women, lots of women.
I was like, what?
Access.
What?
I think, yeah, he said if you were a man that had access.
No,
to
no,
women,
I
was like,
I took out person because I want to speak for women. But if you are a man and you have access to a lot of women, then you're, you know, especially if you had it for a long period of time, and you didn't necessarily need money to get it, you know, to go without it is literally a choice in capacity. Because the moment you start acting crazy, I don't need to choose this because I'm only choosing this for your feelings.
So why are you saying capacity, though?
Capacity meaning like, so like, do you make my sacrifice? Because I'm sacrificing. Like women got options, right? But men who actually can get women have, I argue, the same, if not better options, right? Because those women will do more for him than that man would do for you, right? So I'm choosing. This is a
choice.
it's a sacrifice. Like so once you start acting crazy, and I was like, okay, why am I sacrificing and tolerating bad behavior when I know these ones will kiss the ground I walk on?
But then they'll display bad behaviors too. So you're just gonna
Not all the time.
Okay. So why you don't stay with the one that don't got bad behavior?
Maybe that one is just a little like yeah, like there's a little different. There's a bunch of different things. You know, some are slower.
we're all fucking
So,
actors.
you know, some have worse sex. You know, it's a lot of different things that could play into it. But it's a conscious choice. So for me, you ask me $1 million, it doesn't necessarily move me. But the second you start acting crazy,
You're gone.
I'm not gonna be gone.
No.
I'm gonna be here, but
Moving on to the next.
I'm not moving on. I'm not leaving. I love you. I'm just fucking. That's it. My love ain't going outside.
I was gonna
just
get
my
right.
dick. Yeah, like my love is with you, baby. I'm loyal by love. I'm faithful by love.
Break his heart, girl.
You can't.
Leave him.
You can't.
Leave him.
Ladies, so I have a question that might be a little bit taboo. Do women expect their partners to be faithful on business trip, specifically their man?
Do we expect
we
our
always-
partner to be faithful on a business trip? On the business trip, on the school trip, on every damn trip. Okay, on the guys trip.
No.
family
Wait.
trip.
Let me
I don't
change.
care what trip it is.
Let me make sure I clarify. Not want him to be faithful. Do you know that he's going to be faithful? Let me take out expect. Do you know, in your mind, believe that men are going to be faithful on their trips?
Hell yeah, because I'm going to pop up. Where that key card at?
Oh, shit.
Where that key card at?
Pop
I'm
up
just
on the
saying.
business trip?
I hope that's a double bed. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Amanda?
They don't give double beds on business trips. Why would they be giving double beds?
Because they ran out.
Rooms
Ooh.
with the coworkers.
Well, that's what I'm
Requires-
saying. I hope it's a
requires on the
double
trip
bed. I
alone.
hope that, maybe you got your coworkers there with you. No?
No, yeah, that's why I'm like on a business trip. I think everyone has their own room.
Yeah.
Should be king size.
Sometimes, not all the time.
All the single beds were taken.
Exactly. Sometimes they're single. Exactly.
So that makes sense if that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I expect anybody I'm with to be faithful to me. I'm not no crazy person. I'm not gonna pop up anywhere. I'm not threatening to pop up anywhere. It's just the expectation.
Right.
If we're in a relationship, I don't need to not trust you going anywhere. I don't want to even worry about you going on a guy's trip, business trip. I don't want to think about you doing anything on a family trip. Like
It's not a thought in your
thought
mind.
should not cross my mind.
Right.
You
I
going
agree.
away without me, have fun. It's your alone time.
Right.
This is your time without me. Have fun. Don't do nothing stupid.
No, that's not a thought in your mind. We would never.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Never.
Never.
Come on, stop.
Never.
You're good.
It's
Oof,
business.
true.
Business.
It's business.
I would say that the guys who have a problem with their girls going on girls trip, they expect them to go fuck on that girls trip. That's the expectation.
It is.
Why else do you think they don't want them to go?
No.
No, maybe because that's what they're doing.
No.
No, don't do that.
Understand?
No, it actually,
Yeah.
no, Rome. Actually, it
You
is-
only gonna
you
think
do it.
it's you
No,
only
but
gonna
it
think somebody's
is
doing something that you
really
actually
true.
do.
It
No,
is. It
that's not
actually
true.
is.
I want to hear this logic.
The projection is real.
It's a thing.
With that, because to be honest, it wasn't until I started having conversations on here that I hear how much you think that girls do on a girls trip. That's not how my girls trips be.
Right.
I don't be out there fucking nothing or even
ran
looking
into a younger
to-
Roma Rico. God bless you.
Keep me out of that.
And honestly, I would have never even thought anything about guys' trip if I don't hear how you guys talk about guys' trips.
That's called
Literally.
that's
never.
called out of sight, out of mind. That doesn't mean that's the reality.
This is a small percentage of the male brain, though. So you don't
It's
have
not.
to take
Well,
it as-
it's
I don't
not
know how
about.
I don't know how I take that.
Ooh, small
What?
percentage.
I don't know
Ooh.
if I like that one.
Listen, when a man has a
It is.
problem with a
Listen, so
girls
they
trip,
put
it's
me onto
because
things I didn't know. So
small percentage.
Yeah.
because we're talking about lives that we really lived, not
Yeah.
not
It's a
hypotheticals.
percentage of the male thought, though. It's
Mhm.
not-
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
Clean that one up.
I didn't mean it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Women be booking escorts too. Like they be on those sites.
Wow.
They be on the sites.
oh, there's sites.
Nah, I didn't even know about
There
that.
are sites.
Call me.
Are you talking from experience? Do you do?
Call me.
Yo.
I
Profile?
thought they'd be at the corner.
Oh,
No.
the men on the corner? When you see a man?
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know. I just
corner
thought
man?
they're corner people.
Explain the difference between an escort and a
Not on the corner,
prostitute,
no.
please.
There is no difference.
Okay.
One has more class. I guess like a prostitute you might catch on the street,
Okay.
right? An escort you might have to call or have some type of like contact.
But they have
information.
Order
sex,
her.
No, escorts don't always have
That's
sex.
what I
sounded
said. I
so
thought
weird.
escorts were just like-
I won't repeat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be with sex. That's why I said the difference.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because you can't have a company that sells sex,
Yeah.
but you can have a company provide somebody to give you the girlfriend or boyfriend experience, and then it's up to the discretion of the worker to decide what goes on from there. You would never have to. You would never have to worry about your man on a business trip because
okay.
your man is dedicated to you and he's formed a union with you, and that's your bond. So for the other women that are watching this, men can go on business trips, so you should never worry about your man because he loves you.
And only you.
Teardropper.
That was so good.
Because he loves You. And that was the perfect ending.
And birthday trips too, because he loves you.
Guys trips as well.
Because he loves you.
Now we love y'all. You know what? I'll tell you what really happens. A lot of fucking peace.
Oh, what?
However y'all slice it, whether it's laughing, drinking, but it's just not hearing that yapper. And that's usually why a lot of men just get away. So it has nothing to do with that. And it's too hard to cheat now, honestly. Like straight up, it's really hard to cheat and like not get caught.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why they say that escorts and prostitutes is the best way of cheating, because they typically are the ones that don't linger on.
Mm-hmm.
They typically are the ones that are not going to say anything. And you don't have to build
your credit card bills? Your card bills?
You never pay that. Why would you? What are you swiping? Do you think they're walking around with?
You said you have to order them on the site.
Yeah, but like if you order them, they don't charge you on the website. Like you upload your card information and just pay it.
That means life is short and do what you're gonna do.
I was in high school and the guy, he had a stocking cap on his face and he made a video and he had HIV or AIDS, one of them, and he was like, I got it from this girl and I'm gonna give it to every girl. So far I fucked 200 and something women. That there are, like when I was in school, probably all of us, I'm not sure about you, but we had DARE, right? The DARE program. Yeah. There's no DARE. I have not seen DARE in any school.
What is it? Drugs? What was it again? What was
drugs?
Drugs are really excellent. I got a question. So speaking of that, you know those commercials that you said that come on the, I guess, Valtrex or whatever commercials. What would be your fee to be a paid actor in that, or would you do it?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, for the AIDS thing?
Yeah, would you do it?
I don't think they charge you that much for.
And it's the worst part is
I wouldn't do it.
Money.
Yeah.
Even if
so, you wouldn't be a paid actor, even though it said paid actor under you, it wouldn't.
Right. I don't think they pay you that much, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you would. You definitely get paid.
Without taxes, I know what you think in taxes. 5,000 cash.
I wasn't even thinking. I
don't.
wasn't even thinking about no taxes.
It's not worth it.
But yeah, no.
And you don't gotta say that. You just gotta walk in the park and hold their hand. That's what they do.
With the voiceover, with the narration.
Yeah.
And it,
smile. You gotta
She's
smile.
driving.
You gotta be happy. You gotta look happy. You know, here's why I wouldn't do it.
Oh no.
They did that to Joey and Friends. I don't know if you guys watch Friends, but they did that to Joey.
What I think is really like crazy about the whole HIV/AIDS commercial is that everyone that I've saw, and I mean everyone, it was always two guys.
Yeah, they always do it that way.
So I would never do that. They couldn't pay me enough because I'm not doing that. But if we eliminate that and we make it a girl,
a guy and a girl, what's your fee? At least 10 bands.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like 15.
15.
15. It's at 3 a.m. Nigga, you should be asleep. Don't be watching me on TV.
No, they'll tell you when they're gonna run it. It's not only at 3 a.m.
They might put the ad up.
But even if it is, like,
even if it is, niggas know your face. They're gonna be like, Rico was in this commercial, and it's gonna be all over Instagram.
I might think about it that you put that in perspective, but
you take the 10 bands, right, and then you just go get a test, and then put the test on your page. Like
there you go.
That
problem solved.
Come on, man.
No bus stop because they do that shit. Like they definitely do it. You be like, oh shit, I didn't even see me over here.
Where?
Nigga be like, that's you. You know how many niggas they're gonna be tagging me on Instagram crazy.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been another great episode of 8 at the Table. I'd like to thank our guests. Do you want to tell them your name and your Instagram one more time?
Falashology.
Nakai, ask Nakai.
And y'all know us. Oh, my camera's over here.
That's why I put it.
And you did that on purpose.
I did.
She said.
Because they was all looking over here, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look over here too. But thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you guys again.
It's girls, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, for joining us on today's episode.
Yes.
We hope to see you guys again soon. Yes. My Caribbean sisters.
Yes.
Okay.
But like, where did y'all get that from? Like when did that come a thing?
Sisterhood.
Yeah.
Black women,
We're
Caribbean. Because y'all were like two like in sync even with the fingers.
It's just a thing. If you know, you know.
You know.
Okay, so thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.